Hello, ladies. So, welcome to my channel. We do women empowerment define the odds. This is Irva, and today I have a special guest. Her name is Teresa, and Teresa has been my neighbor for years. Teresa, tell us a little about yourself. But before we get into that, let me tell you, and I have to put Teresa's husband out there. These are the best neighbors you'll find. So, Steve, I'm sorry that I'm putting you on a women's channel, but that's empowering too, and you should be happy you're getting popular. But Teresa and Steve are honestly the most wonderful neighbors you'll ever find, and Hugo, Teresa's second love. So Teresa,
Maybe first.
maybe for I hope Steve's not watching. So Teresa, just tell us a little about yourself.
Sure. So my name's Teresa, and as you said, my husband is Steve, and we have a little fur pup, well, who's 14 now, named Hugo. I met Irva 15 years ago when we moved
Ooh,
in. Yeah,
you're
across the
aging us.
street. Yes, yes. And best neighbors we've ever had. And then, yeah, we miss her dearly, but thankfully we still get to connect. Yes. And let's see a little bit about myself. I love my family. I love, I love what I do for a living now, and which we'll talk about later.
Mhm.
And let me see. Hobbies probably include anything dog related. So, which again, we'll talk about a little bit
Mhm.
during your interview. But yeah, that's just a little bit about me.
Okay, thank you. So, I like the fact that you said hobbies, anything dog related. So tell us
Anything dog related.
anything.
Yeah.
So that would lead us to a place in your life that's dog
Yes.
related.
Yeah.
But when I met you, you were HR generalist, and
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think that's a coveted job. The person, you guys are doing the hiring and all this stuff. Um, how did you like that? So first,
Well,
did you study in university for that? Is
so
that
I majored in sociology because my
oh,
dream was, okay, I'm going to be a social worker. I'm going to be a social worker. And right before I started sociology, right before I started at York, I did a co-op placement at
mm-hmm,
a center for disturbed children.
mm-hmm.
And I walked in on my first day and they asked what I wanted to do. And I told them social worker. And somebody, and I thank him, pulled me out and said, there is no way you're going to do that. And I said, yes, I am. And he's like, no, there
Wow.
isn't. And he brought me into, I guess it was an interview, and there was a
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
trial.
mm-hmm.
And after what I heard, I changed everything.
You're like,
I
wow.
ended up asking to be transferred even in that very same co-op position. And they said, the only
Wow.
thing we have is HR. And I thought, oh, okay, I'll take it because I can't
Wow.
do this. Yes, yes. So I didn't want to I guess stop it like right away. So
Mhm.
I minored in human resources and I majored in sociology just in case there was a chance that I'd put on my big girl pants and be able to do it. But it didn't happen, and I kept on my path to HR because in a way I thought, you know what, you're still helping people in this path.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed what I was learning. So that's when I became an HR generalist.
How long did you do that for?
So I did it for 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I actually was, I guess, on my way there, I had these visions, these
Mhm.
goals that I had being an HR generalist. And obviously one of them was, help. I want to help people. I want to be there for people. My whole thing is my whole life motto is put yourself in somebody else's shoes
Mhm.
before you open your mouth, before you do anything. Always think like that's somebody's sister, that's somebody's brother, that's
Wow.
somebody's mother.
Mhm.
So I found that this wasn't really being fulfilled where I was. Um, I wasn't growing, and
Mhm.
I, I guess maybe I didn't have the right support. I just didn't, it wasn't where I wanted to be. And it not just for myself, but for others.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's when it started taking a toll. And I could tell I wasn't really happy anymore. So um, that's kind of when I started to steer away. Yeah.
So you know what? I mean, wow. Okay. So if we would go back to the start of your story, you wanted to be a
Yeah.
social worker. That day you switched straight. You're like, okay, this is really
Oh,
not for
yeah.
me. But wow. So, but at least you had that backup. You did the HR as
Yeah.
your minor.
Yeah.
But now you're working in your happy-ish place,
Yes,
where you believe you can make some changes. And
yes,
13 years is a long time from your life.
it
I don't
is.
know how young you are, but still it's a good chunk of your life that's gone into
It
this
is.
career.
It is. Yeah.
And you decide you're going to change career.
Yeah, I did.
So tell me that conversation with your husband. And hold on, tell us what you changed career
Yeah.
into. And tell me, just if you want to share a little bit,
Yeah.
what's that conversation like with your husband?
So it kind of started because he actually noticed I wasn't that happy at home anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I would come home from work and the smile wasn't there anymore, like the
Mm-hmm.
spark wasn't there anymore. And he was kind of saying, like, what's going on? And that's when I kind of admitted it. And at the same time, I was actually working part-time at the animal hospital where I used to bring my dog.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of said, you know what, maybe it'll help me clear my head, just being around people that are like me, they all like animals. I'm just gonna,
Yeah.
do a part-time job. So um, it was Wednesdays and Saturdays that I worked there. And a few months in, my husband was like, you're different on Wednesday nights when even though you're coming home. I used to work full time Wednesday, 7:30 to 4, and then 4
Mm-hmm.
to 9, or sorry, 5 to 9 at the animal hospital.
Wow.
And then I used to come home and I was happy. And, I mean, how could I not be? I was surrounded by people who were like me, they had animals like me. I was in a
Mm-hmm.
workplace where I could relate to others and I was helping them, but they were helping me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so he said, Saturdays and Wednesday nights, you're a totally different person. So
Wow.
um, my manager at the hospital at the time said that there was a full-time posting that was going to go up for a receptionist. And I thought, oh, I don't know if I could do that. Like, I'm going to leave a career of 13 years and that's a
Yes.
huge pay cut. It's a
Yes.
huge pay cut.
Yes.
And I can't, like, I won't be like, I feel like I'm letting my team down. Like, I don't know if I can do that. And I spoke to my husband and he said, why not? Like,
Mm-hmm.
there are so many sacrifices that we can make. We don't have to go to Tim Hortons in the morning. We don't have to go out for
Wow.
dinner on
Yeah.
Friday nights. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is an 8-hour a day job. You should be happy. That smile should be there permanently. Like, if
Mm-hmm.
you have that chance, you need to go for it.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm very thankful for that support because
Yeah.
I did it. I walked into my boss's office and I said, I'm giving you my 2 weeks. And I did it. And I jumped the ship.
Did you feel well? Okay, first I'll say you luckily that you had that support because HR generalist, receptionist, I can only imagine the pay cut.
Yeah.
But thank God for having a supportive
Yeah.
husband, to back you up also financially, not just the mental
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah. In every
yes,
which. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So in every aspect, and to say, it's okay, make yourself happy because, and you said some really important things, Teresa. You smile and your happiness.
Yeah.
So even if you were making the money, even if you went in the evening and do the extra hours, but you came home happy on the days that you worked longer hours. So
Did.
clearly it wasn't about the money. It's where your
Yeah.
passion and your love was. So you make the
Exactly.
switch. In your mind, did you have any reservations? You resigning, you walked in, you told your boss, did you still think, shit,
Oh, yeah.
you did? Okay.
Terrified of like what was going to happen. Like, we're going to have to rebudget everything. What if we can't
Mm-hmm.
do it? It's true. I walked in and I gave him my resignation, and part of me was like, yes. And the other part of me was like, what did you just do? Like,
Mm-hmm.
how, are you sure about this? Um, but it worked. It completely worked. And it's, I don't know how it worked, but we just, like I said, we rebudgeted and
Mm-hmm.
we thought of like priorities versus, things that they're not a necessity,
Yes.
they're not essential, we don't need that. Um, it, and it worked. And I'm telling you, I was just so much happier. Um,
Mm-hmm. So it
yeah,
was worth the sacrifices, and you said a few things.
100%.
Yes, it
Yeah.
wasn't about you. You had to change some things. You had to give up some things. Most
Yeah.
of it you didn't even need, but
No.
your happiness and your smile was back. So I'm gonna just
Well,
say,
yeah.
mhm. So sorry, I'm gonna just say to ladies out
Yeah.
there, and I've been in your shoes too.
Yeah.
It's not always about the finances, and yes, sometimes it's a really thin line because
Yes.
you know, but you realize at some points, which you did, sometimes you can survive on less finance. It's all a mindset too, because you're already living at this, but you really don't need all that. And it doesn't buy you happiness. So why give to a
It
place
doesn't.
every single day and you're coming home a different
Miserable.
person? Yes,
Completely
literally.
miserable. Don't do
Yeah.
it. Like, honestly, don't do it. And this is a perfect situation. Look at everything that like has been taken away from us during COVID. Like all the things that have been taken for
Yes.
granted.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was difficult, but honestly, if you rethink things, not just refinancing, but rethink things like the commute, maybe it's a shorter commute. Well, you won't
Mm-hmm.
need as much gas money. I was going to be wearing a uniform. I don't need clothes for work, you know?
Yes.
So all of these things, I thought, you know what? I think we're going to be okay. And we totally were. And
Mm.
we did still go to Tim Hortons, not every day, but we, we did like, and it was like I said, you cannot put a price on it because life can change so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, COVID is a perfect example, but
Yes.
you know, you get one health scare, and I'm telling you, it'll change everything. But don't wait for that scare to,
Listen,
yeah,
that is true, and I've worked, and I still think, because for me, I'm still kind of the place where I'm figuring out my passion. But I had a career for years, and my earning were very high, and
yeah,
but I really my and health, my blood pressure was high.
yeah.
One day I walked into the doctor's office, my blood pressure was almost, it was stroke level. It was,
See,
and I had to tell, I said, wow, this job is gonna kill me. But I still kept doing it because I needed to. And then
yeah,
one day I'm just like, okay,
no,
it's not working. But you know what I did? I changed career in the same field for a lower paying job because I figured it was
yeah,
going to be less responsibility. It really wasn't, because it was the same field. Then I just got depressed because now I was doing the same job.
yeah,
The conditions were very similar and I was making less pay. So that hurt. Now I had that cycle. I'm like, I might as
yeah,
well stay and have high blood pressure and make a lot of money. And like you, I didn't resign though, but I remember one day I was going in and there was an issue with, it was winter, it was snowing, and my son left his snowboots home. And I just really had it. I'm like, okay, this career is, it's not for me. I really know. I mean, it's all I know, but I'm like, it's really not for me. And I'm going in and I'm talking to a friend. I'm like, today I really wish they fire me. It's one of those, because I'm single. I didn't have the courage to resign. What am I
yeah,
going to do? You can't resign and go in EI, right? So I'm like, I really wish they fired me. And I remember that day I'm going in and I walked in and we had a little issue, and it wasn't a fire, but they dismissed me because they had
yes,
somebody that was, it was a little complicated situation and I wasn't going to talk about it. And they're like, okay, we're going to dismiss you. And like you, I walked to there going, yes, because I'm getting
yeah,
paid, right? Because they're dismissing. But part of me, the conflict still, I'm like, oh man, what did I just do? What's going to
yes,
happen? I
yes,
want to do this career change. This is all I know, but it works out. And you also
does,
said too, with COVID, I realized there's so many, you and I were talking, things that you really don't need. I wax my eyebrows. I mean, the lockdown teach you a lot of things that you can live without for a
yes.
while or forever, some things, right? And you save on those things. So now we'll go back to your story. You're, you resigned
I
and you're
resigned.
working full time as a secretary.
Yes.
First, I'm
Yep.
gonna ask, psychologically, from your perspective, did you feel different? Like you lost something. You're an HR generalist, hiring people, doing
Yep.
payroll, all this stuff. Now you're working under someone with HR, and
Yep.
people telling you what to do, and you're answering the phones and those sort of stuff. Did you feel different psychologically?
The only difference I felt, honest to God, was when somebody called and they had a crisis with their animal. I could be there to say, I know exactly what you feel. And I took them
Wow.
down to a different level because I've been there. Like I said, I've got a
Mhm,
14-year-old puppy, I call him,
mhm,
but he is 14. That boy has struggled his entire life with
mhm,
many ailments. And I was that person on the phone before,
mhm,
scared, worried, traumatized. And the only feelings I felt was, I know exactly how you feel. This is what we're going to do to help you. Let's get
mhm.
this started. And honestly, I never looked back. And now that you even say, did you ever feel something different because now you were working under HR? I hadn't even thought of that till you
Wow.
said it. I didn't,
Wow. So that's
yeah,
good. So clearly you were happier.
I was much happier, like
Mhm,
much,
mhm.
much happier. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so lead us up now to, you're in a new career.
Yes.
What happened there?
So my hospital manager, she knew I had a background in HR, and she approached me one day. It was a year after I had been working completely, full time for her.
Mhm.
And she said, there's a head office position, there's a benefits administrator position. It's right
Wow.
up your alley. And I said, that's nice. That's great. And she goes, you should really give it a shot. And I don't want to. Okay. I just, like, that fulfillment that I wanted my whole life, I
Mhm.
finally had. Like, why would I do that? So
Mhm.
I remember driving home and talking to my husband and telling him, and I said, am I being selfish for not even wanting to go to an interview? And he said, no, you're not being selfish at all. Like, you're happy where you are, but you have nothing to lose. Just
Mhm.
go. And I
True.
thought, oh, you know what? It's true. Like, I can call the shots now. I don't have to
Yeah.
say yes.
Because you
You
don't
know,
need this
I
job.
don't need this.
Yeah.
So I went and I met with the owner of the company that, is our head office. And um, it was completely different than what I had in my mind.
Mhm.
Um, and I took it.
Wow.
So I took it and I started off as benefits administrator.
Mhm.
And fast forward 3 years later, and I'm the benefits manager of the largest veterinary network in Canada.
Wow.
Yeah, but
That
I
is
have the best of both worlds now. I have,
that's exactly
yeah,
what I was going to say. So,
yeah,
but what I really got from this, Teresa, is the humility in it all, and when you're following your happiness,
yeah,
because you weren't just pursuing a career or something that was paying great. You just wanted to be happy. But look at wanting to be happy. You did the job for a year or so, being a secretary diligently, being happy. And then this opportunity presented itself. You didn't have to go looking for it. And I
yeah,
realized that sometimes when you're in your happy zone, opportunities come. So you're
yeah,
still in your element. Now you're happy and you're getting paid more. So,
yeah, yeah,
you're exactly right back where you were, except you're happy.
yeah.
So
And
tell me, because you sent me a little clip of the pet's story, the
yes,
pets and the parents. So
yes.
tell us about where you are now and why that makes you happy.
Well, it makes me happy, not just because of the position and the fact that I'm very proud that I came this far.
Mm-hmm.
That fulfillment and those goals that I actually wanted to get into HR for, like, because I wanted to
Wow.
help people, because I
Yes, you
wanted to
did.
be in their shoes.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what I'm doing. So I actually found, a fantastic leader who
Mm-hmm.
supported my growth, who supported my goals. And when I
Wow.
went to them to say, I don't think this is right because I got, you know what? Okay, like, you've proved it, let's change it. You know,
Wow.
I was able to fulfill all of those goals that I couldn't in 13 years. I can
Mm-hmm.
now.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I'm sure it has a lot to do with, a great leader and, a great company who is supportive and they thrive on your growth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like I said, now I have the best of both worlds, where I have the
Yeah,
animals and I have the career. Yeah.
that is
Because you
true.
can bring, yeah, because I mean, my dog does come to work with me. So
So you literally do have the best, and
yeah,
you're doing the most amazing part is you're doing the things that you love with
yeah,
the people that you love, including
yeah,
your Hugo, right? That's your
yeah.
pet's name, and your license plate says Hugo Bear. So
Exactly.
maybe I shouldn't have said that, but it just shows your love for your pets. And
Yeah.
Teresa, honestly, we have a few more minutes, but thank you for the story. And just briefly though, was that a career change in your third? Well, you look like your 30s. I don't know. 20s, later on in life, earlier on in life.
No, it's I'll be honest with you, I'm 41
Oh,
and
you look great, Teresa. Way to
oh,
go.
thanks. Thanks. And the career change was only 3.5 years ago. So
Wow.
yeah, 3.5 years ago. So it was my late 30s.
Okay,
Um,
so it's, ladies, it's really not, there's never a time, and Teresa, thanks for proving that. Whenever, if it doesn't feel right, don't sell your
yeah,
soul, and I'm going to use soul here.
it's
Don't
true.
sell your soul to something just for the money, because a few things happen later on. You probably would quit because you'll get to the point, because you're so not fulfilled, where you probably will just leave the job no matter how much it's paying, or pray they fire you,
Yeah.
um So why not live with your dignity and do something that you love?
Yeah.
Then things are going to be attracted to you. Other positions that you love are going to be attracted to you. Um, so thank you to you and Hugo. Just quickly tell us, we have a few minutes. Tell us the little blurb you sent me in the story Hugo wrote. I thought that was really
Oh,
cool.
yes. So we have a pets page at our office where you can, post pictures of your pet and
Mhm.
kind of tell them a little bit about themselves. So he was given the position Chief Challenge Overcomer because of all the challenges he's faced in his life and
Mhm.
how he came through with, he followed through with them with a smile and with his spunk.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, that's the little blurb that he left. It doesn't matter how hard you get hit, you could always have that little bit of spark and spunk to
Mhm.
make you a chief challenge overcomer.
Well, I like that. And we're going to end on that note from Hugo, uh,
Yes.
Chief Challenge Overcomer. So, ladies, it didn't matter who said it. Hugo wrote it, but it still has the same meanings. You yourself, you can be a chief challenge overcomer. It doesn't matter how
Yeah.
hard you get hit. It doesn't matter what age you are. And I hope what I want from this channel is women seeing these shows, hearing those stories, your stories can say, I can change something at any point in my life. If I don't like something, I don't have to. I mean,
Yeah.
make smart choices though when you're doing those things. And everyone's not fortunate with a spouse that would say do it, but do things for your happiness. It may take a little time. You may have to slowly ease yourself into it and ease out yourself from that position, but don't stay because, you know, the money's good or
Yeah.
whatever the reason, because your happiness. And as you get older, and this probably comes with age with us, Teresa, as you get
Yeah.
older, you realize, yeah, it doesn't even matter what you started in university. The happiness is
Doesn't.
really what it comes down to, right? So
Exactly.
thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Thanks for
You're
sharing your
welcome.
journey. Guys, reach out to us if you want to share a story too. If you like, anything that you want to learn, please send it this way. I'll ask Teresa if she wanted to share more.
Of
And
course.
yes, of course. And say hi to Hugo and hubby for me. And
You got it.
Hugo's probably somewhere around. But
Fast asleep. He's
oh,
he's
well,
on he's on senior hours.
yes,
Yes,
he is on senior hours. He's an
dinner at
aged man
5
right
and by
now.
in bed by 8.
He's an aged man. So, but thank you guys. And if you walk around our neighborhood, you'll definitely see Teresa with her stroller, well, Steve with the stroller, and Hugo.
Because our walks are a little different these days, but that's okay.
That's okay.
Again,
That's okay.
happiness. What makes you
See,
happy?
happiness is the key. It doesn't matter at what, as long as it's not costing you your life or anything, it's your
Exactly.
happiness. It's your happiness. So Teresa, thank you for sharing your story.
You're welcome.
Guys, please check out our channel. Please subscribe, please like, pass it to a friend, share your story with us. Chief Overcomer.
Chief challenge overcomer.
Challenge Overcomer. I
Do
like
it.
that.
Anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it. Chief Challenge Overcomer. And that's our end. Thank you.
Thank you.